Ayun, sir.
All right, so good afternoon, programmers, geodetic engineers, no, by in the making. So welcome to our seventh session. So for today, we're gonna be, I'm going to discuss to you spreadsheets. So when we talk about spreadsheets, these are like ledger, no. This are ledger is actually a book where, or it's a book or a collection of financial accounts of a particular type. So yeah, so there are actually a lot of spreadsheet applications that we can use. You have for Open Office. You can also have you have Open Office. You have these are actually open source, so meaning we don't have to purchase that. We don't have to purchase any key, but this time we're gonna be using a Microsoft Excel, which is a proprietary software. But if our purpose is only for the intention of education, so Microsoft Corporation will not actually parang dili na ta i-chase or dili na ta gukdon, no? For But if you're making money out of it, so it's their discretion whether to look for you or what. So but again, since ang purpose nato today kay upload bi nato sa YouTube, no, is for education, and for the intention is for again education. So I hope Microsoft Corporation is not going to like look after us. So this time, I'm pretty much sure you're already familiar with Microsoft Excel. Tama ba? Na naman mo ani sa
Gamay, sir.
inyong
Gamay, sir.
nana mo sa
Yes.
inyong elementary ani no? Ay, high school, senior
Yes,
high
sir.
tama? Good.
Naman, sir.
Okay. All right. So dili na kay ko mag-focus or really into basic. So dito ta sa mga advanced. By the way, when we talk about Microsoft Excel, no, there are asa man ni akong kanila rin yung usa ni. So there are three types of data. So first is the label or the text. Yan. So data types. So 'di ba in our previous discussion, especially sa database SQL scripting, we have different data types like currency, decimal, float, double, short int, varchar. Ayan. And then for here, no, in Microsoft Excel, there are actually three basic data types, which are the label, the constant, and then the formula. Okay, so when you talk about the label, it's anything that is in a form of text. No, it's just a description or just a label. No, it's just a anything that we write, particularly in a column, and then like for an instance, if we want to collect the age, no, so age is considered as a label, okay, in a form of string. Ayan. So for constant value, the values that are, so I know in mathematics when we talk about constant values are fixed values like pi, no? So, but in Microsoft Excel, in this application, constant are any numerical value that you put in a cell or in this particular cell. So for an instance, you have here 23. This is considered as a constant value or numerical value. Now, for formula, anything that starts with equal sign. Okay? So I know you're also familiar with that. So if ever mag-start siya og equal sign, it would indicate that the we are going to write or start writing a formula. Okay, so these are the basic types or data types of Microsoft Excel. Now let's talk about arithmetic expressions or arithmetic operators. So I know for some, I know you're also familiar with this arithmetic operators. So you have arithmetic operators. So you have, let's say, the values for num1, and then you have your num2. And if you want to perform any arithmetic operations inside of, if in every value of column num1 and num2, let's say we have 2, 4, 6, 5. Kaya ito ang mga values dali. Okay. All right. So if you want to perform a arithmetic operator, so we have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and of course division. So you'll just have to select, okay, using the equal key. That means you are ready to select a cell. So by the way, when we talk about cell, it's an intersection of row and column. So when we talk about row and column, mo ni ang column na to A2. So when you, I don't know if unsa sa Microsoft sa Windows, basta in my case is command arrow right. That's this is the last column here that I have is XFD. So if I need to go back, so command left lang. But since sa inyong case is control right, control right arrow or control left arrow to navigate. For ano naman, for row, control command 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 down and then command up or arrow up, arrow down. Okay, if you want to navigate from one point or one direction to another. Okay, so this time, again, when we talk about cell, it's an intersection of row and column. So this is your column, this is your row. So you have here A2 as the cell. So it's actually going to display there in the cell view. Okay, and then this is your formula view. And then let's say you want to perform arithmetic operation, you can actually type the cell or by typing the cell directly. So you let's say have you B2, or you can actually select a cell plus using another a certain operator. Now, if this one is like it's an arithmetic operator, you're using only one arithmetic operator for this purpose, for this one, no? For this, let's say this one is you want to use only arithmetic parang plus or addition, just have to do a fill series, no, or autofill. So fill series or autofill by actually uh, double clicking this one, or by simply dragging this one using your mouse or your what you call this one, what you call this one in the laptop. This is the, I just forget the term. But again, you just have to use the using this pointer, no? So something like that. Okay, so that's for arithmetic operator. Let's say addition. If you want to perform subtraction, yeah, you just have to change that operator. So if the expression is like it contains multiple expression, of course it will do the same. Like for an instance, I will have to use multiple expressions like plus or say plus a, tapos I'll have here multiplied to 2 plus 4 or something like that. So it's the, again, the PEMDAS is going to be followed. Okay, parenthesis, addition, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So I know familiar po mo ana, no, mathematically. So my Excel is also going to follow the same mathematical formula or mathematical rule. So since we have here a an expression that says or that as that is using multiple operators plus the parentheses, of course, this should be evaluated first, 2 plus 3 before adding A2 and B2. Okay? So but this time you don't have to, I mean, you go first with adding 2 plus 3 times B2, which is times 5, no? Okay? And then plus 2, which is 27. Do you follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So you do the same for basta higher the same precedence, multiplication and division, the same precedence, addition, subtraction. Pag magsunod addition, subtraction, walay other, like walay multiplication or division, left to right lang ka. Pag multiplication and division, left to right lang gihapon ka, pero but if nana siya multiplication and a mix of addition and subtraction, you unahon nimo ang multiplication or division. Basta asa sa duha, multiplication or division. Ulahi ang addition and subtraction. If in case na mix siya, na parenthesis, of course, unahon nimong parenthesis, and then next is multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. Okay? Next is relational operators. Now, for relational operators are used for evaluating a logical test, or a conditional statement. So example, if we would like to, by the way, when we talk about relational operators, you have less than, greater than, less than or equal, greater than or equal, not equal, and then equal. So same sa, almost the same sa Microsoft as sa database na to. So ang not equal lang sa database using MySQL is this one. Pero if naggamit ta og what they call this one, an Microsoft Access, it's the same operator that we are going to be using, which is this one. Okay, so these are the relational operators. So in relational operators, again, this is testing the equality of the two operands. Okay, the two values. Okay, example, we have here 2 less than 5. So example, yeah, we just have to do it like 2 less than the second value. So ang return ana would be true or false. So again, basta mag-relational operators ta, ang return or ang value that is going to be returned is true or false. So since 2 is less than 5, it's going to return true. Okay? So and then you can do that if like this one, if you will be using the greater than. So since 3 is actually less than 6, so therefore the result there is false. Another is, let's say, less than or equal. So if in case na this is 3, 3 is less than or equal to 3. So it's not, 3 is not less than to 3, but it's actually equal to 3. That's why it's true. So because this one is less than or. The same thing with greater than or, and then for not equal, okay, so this is greater than or equal, and then for not equal is like this. So since 23 is not equal to, let's say 3, so 3 is not equal to 3. So since 3 is equal to 3, that's why it's false. So dapat true ni siya kasi 3 is equal to 3. If that's the case, you have here 3 and 3, and then you use equal. So that's why it's true. Okay. Now for another logical operators or another operators in Excel application, you have logical and, logical or, and logical and. So logical and, logical or, and logical not. So what are the work, or what are these logical and logical or, and logical not? For logical and, you have truth table. Tira na natin ibutang sa baba. Sige, tira. Okay. So the truth table for logical and, if you use logical and if there are two expressions. Okay. So what are these expressions? Expressions that you use using, or expressions that you try to invoke using relational operators. If the truth table for and is true, true, erase na natin eh. So if everything is true or all expressions are true, therefore the entire expression is going to be true. If only there's an absence of, like, the absence of 1, it cannot be true, meaning there's false in the expression. So the answer or the result would be false. So if a baliktad siya, like false ang isa and the other expression is true, then it should be also false. So how much more kung false and false? Now, here, it's not always going to be the case na two expressions only. Using and operator, it can have multiple expressions. Example, if you're using and operator and then you have a logical test condition saying that is 2 less than 3, okay, and 5 is greater than 10. So the first expression there is 2 less than 3. So 2 is less than 3 is actually, is it true or false?
False.
Ah, 2 less than 3 sa kani
Ay,
sang
2 less than
expression?
2. True day, sir.
True, sir.
True,
True.
okay. True. So dara nga kani either kani nga table kani sa table. Then kani 5 is greater than 10,
False.
False.
false. So kani
False.
nga so diri siya mag-fall. True and false, the result will be false. So ayan.
False.
So you don't have to memorize this one. It's just a common sense. Pag magamit tag and, meaning to say, mura na siya og conditions given to someone na who courted a girl or si courted ba or who a person who will be asking to marry someone. Nya ang iyahang conditions kay dapat na siya house and lot. Okay. Example, maingon ang girl, I'm gonna marry you if you have house and lot. So both must be present. Okay? Dapat na ay house at the same time na ay
Lot.
lot. Ayan. Na ay lot, dili lang lot, basta a lot. Okay?
Lot.
All right. Pag naa siya'y house pero wa siya'y lot, that's a floating house, no? So, bitaw pero naa na siya'y house pero walay lot. So, meaning true na siya'y house, false wala siya'y lot. It's also meaning absence of one cannot be true, false gyapon siya. So, true and false is false. You have the house but you don't have the lot. I cannot marry you. Kuya mga girl, oy. Iba this girl. Okay. Now, naay walay house pero naay lot. Panatukod. So, false gyapon kasi walay house and lot. Wala ang duha, walay house and walay lot. Ala hikog. Okay, pag hikog kay wa kay house ug lot. Bitaw, wala kay house and so that's what logical expression is. So if you have two expressions, more than two expressions, like for an instance, we're gonna be using the values right here, 2 greater than or equal to 0, and uh, 2A2 rather is less than or equal to 10. And then you have something like another expression saying that if A2 is equal to 2. So if you have here three expressions, so in our expression, A2 is evaluated either if it's greater than 0, of course, 2 is greater than 0, and then A2 is actually less than 10, which is 2. Is it less than or equal to 10? That's actually true. So both true and true. And then you have another expression saying that if A2 is equal to 2, that's actually true. So you have three expressions here. All are true. Therefore, the entire condition will be true. Okay, do you follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So for logical or, unsa ang truth table sa logical or? True, true, di ba 3 na? True and true is 3, di daw. And true. Okay. Saba, kopyahon na nako ni be. Right. So, ako na ni i-ano be. Or, true, and true. Truth table will be, ayan. Anong sobra man eh? Sobra ang balay og ang bitaw. Sige na, sobra. Anyway, so ato po ni siyang i-formula. True and false. Yan. So true, false, 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 etc., etc. So this is the truth table for, balik-balik day. Truth table for or, meaning, ag naay isa ka true, everything is true. So if ang girl na imuhang gusto pangasawaan, minyuan na lang. If niingon siya, at least you have, or if you have house or lot, pwede na, no? So, mas okay kung naa ang duha. So, ana iyang condition. So, mag-false lang siya pag wala kay duha, wala kay house or lot. So, it's actually the same thing. I mean, it's you're gonna be using or. I mean, you just have to change the or instead of and then with, let's say, expressions in it. So 2 equal to 2 or equal to 2, 3 is greater than 7 or something like that. So or meaning 2 is equal to 2, but since although 3 is not greater than 7, that's actually false. It's still going to give you a true value. Okay? Now for not is going to negate an expression. So it is going to negate an expression. So what do you mean by negate an expression? So when it is not true, it is false. When it is not false, it is actually true. Example, you have here, let's copy this one. The result of this one is false. And then if you are going to, put a not. Okay, this is actually what we call method nesting or function, nesting function or nested function. So you have the values or the value or the result of and with the expression is actually false. And since you use not, it's going to be true now. Okay? So meaning if not false, it's going to be true. If not true, it's going to be false. Like example, not 3 is not equal to 4. So since 3 is not equal to 4, that's actually true. Since you negate it with the not, it is, that's, since it is true, tama, and then since i-negate ni mo to not, meaning not 3, not to 4, or not equal to 4, therefore the result is false. Okay? Do you follow? Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Nakuha,
good.
sir.
All right,
Sabi
so
sa tabi mas
let's
tingog.
Yes, sir.
gani, no? Yung tingog ba? Paningog po mo, bilin manggurong mga laway, bilin manggurong mga tingog, ani? Okay, let's
Si
talk about,
Hubert lang lang po tingogon, sir.
sige lang, nag-have points. Sige lang, i-review lang ako ni kisay sig tingog. So let's talk
Yes, sir.
about functions. So saan ang functions? Okay, paspasan na to kay 456 na. When we talk about functions, functions are built-in, normally built-in siya in Excel application, but you can actually create your own function. That's what we call user-defined function. But when we talk about built-in functions, these are called pre-built-in or predefined functions. When we talk about, again, function in programming or in Excel, it's actually a statements or a procedures that are going to execute or invoke an actions once it is called. So that's the behavior of a function. So actually, and, not, and or are functions. Anything that is enclosed with what they call this one, addition, open and close parenthesis, is a function in Excel. So some of these functions are like sum, average, max, min, run between, okay, mod, if, if, count a, and then count, and a lot more. So daghan kaayo na siya. Where do you see functions? You can actually see it here in the formula. So under this formula, you can insert a function. So you have here the sum, average, if, hyperlink, count, max, min, and so on and so forth. And there are actually listed here for about like hundreds or if even thousands, I don't know. But again, it can be categorized into financial. So you have here the accrued interest. So you have here the other things. So I would be very honest. I'm really not familiar with all other things here. Okay, you also have here logical conditions. Okay, medyo familiar ko. It's because this is part of any programming subject, like any programming language, like this one, and false, if error, if NA, switch, true, or XOR. And then you have bitwise operator also. So for this one, you have here a text. So this one, I'm also a little bit familiar with this one, like trim. If I want to trim, kwaon ang mga white spaces, convert na ko ang string into uppercase. I want to convert it into lowercase. So yan, pwede niyo na siya gamiton. Like for an instance, I want to convert this one to lowercase. So the count will be converted into lowercase. So if I have here count and then I want to convert this into uppercase, so I'll just have to call upper and then it will be uppercase now. Yan. So you have here, you have actually it here. Yan, no? And then replace, exact, find, etc. And then for date and time, you have here like now equals to now will give you a date. Yan, the same thing sa actually the same sa most of this one are has equivalent uh, built-in function in database or SQL. Okay, like sa sum, average, itong last na to na discussion, itong aggregate functions, nani si sum, average, max, and min. Okay, even if, naagya po na, even if the sum, bitaw, even if is also there in SQL as a function. So for math and trigo, ayan. So naadri mga sine, tangent, cosine, abs. I can show you my abs with our absolute value. And then you have also ceiling, you have also pi, add, power, product, quotient, so and etc. etc. So this time we're gonna be focusing only on of this most used functions. So I know for some, I mean, of course, for this no sum, it's saba sige if ano na to sige run between ta sa run between is when you want to randomize a value from or in between a number. So let's say the bottom or the minimum value that is going to be randomly given is from 10 going up to 50. So meaning this this formula now will give us or return a value from 10 to 50. So which is a single value only. Then if you want to do autofill, it will generate a value. But again, kani siya mag-change niya ang value di ay. So that is why sometimes when I do that and then I don't want na mag-change ang value, I'll just have to copy paste this one and then paste it here and then wait. I-paste mo siya right here and then click on this one and then dili siya pwede dito ta sa dire paste and then dapat paste or value lang siya dapat or paste special and then text. Okay? And then also pwede nimo siya try na to. Paste by value or values only. Kanilang dapat values only siya. Okay? So para mawala ang formatting nimo na para mawala ang value na formatting na mag-change ang value every time na kay na changes na imong buhaton. Just like this sa run between, no? So example na kay gibuhat and then mag-change ang value ani ni sa kaning column na na-run between. Example sum and then okay, yan, naka-change ang value. So don't do it. I mean, you don't want to happen that one in your application kasi mag-change po di mo ang value. So this time, since na tayo run between or using run between, we're able to generate values like run between. Okay, gigamit lang nato siya after we use them. So let's perform some of the functions of Microsoft Excel. So you have here sum. Of course, you can do like this, sum. Pwede pod ka, kani mo pinaka ano no ayon inania sum b1 plus 2, it's already a sum function. So pwede ka sum 2 up to this one. So meaning it is going to return the summation of column B, row 1 to row 10. So you can also do something like sum uh, only a particular column. Okay, and you can also do some like a certain range and then plus another column, let's say last column, or using a static value or a constant value. Let's say you want to have a 10 or 100. Okay, but this should be B1 to B5. Okay, so that's for sum. And then you can do it for, the same thing that we do or we can do for average. So if you want to get the average of the value of this value right here, and then that's the average value, so meaning the total sum or the summation of these numbers divided by the total number of items or elements or yeah. So yan, i-count lang nimo pila. And then whatever you can do in the sum is also the thing that you can do in the average here, no? Pwede nimo na magamit sa average. Now for max, max is going to return the highest value or the maximum value or simply pinakadako na value among all the numbers. So since 49 is the highest value, so 49 will be returned. So if ever naa siya ay 55, so 55 will be returned. So the same thing with min. Ayan. So the same thing with min. Okay, only that we'll need to change it to min. So this is, okay. All right, so for mod, you have here a certain value and then i-return lang niya either, oh, by the way, when we talk about mod is, it's actually going to return the remainder after dividing two numbers. So when you divide a number, okay, when you divide a number by, let's say, i-divide na to siya by 2, so this is the divisor, so meaning this is our dividend. So the value of B1 is going to be divided with 2. And when the return is, or when the remainder is 0, are they, yeah, the either the remainder is actually 0 or 1. So let's try this one. So i-autofill na to. So you have here 1, 1, 0, and 1. That's 4. That's the use of mod. Okay, you divide the number and what is the remainder? That's the use of, again, mod. Okay, so if condition. Okay, kani I will reserve any statement for this one. But again, if you're gonna be using if, let's say for an instance, we want to determine, okay, we want to determine if this is odd or even. So we can actually do if, and then let's say mod this one, comma, okay, kuha na to ang modulus to 2 if it's equal to 0, that's even, and then if otherwise, it's going to be odd. So run, okay. I mean, autofill. So 48, 30, even, 34, 32, 36, 42 are all even, 55, 41 odd, even, 42, 25, and 49 are all odd. Okay, so that's for mod. So you can also do something like an apogee function like is even. Okay, so napoy function na is even, it's going to return true or false. Let's say for an instance, this one, is it even? Yes. Okay, so pwede po na mo siya gamiton here, no? Like formula B1. So if even, okay, and then you have B1, okay, so is it even? If even, yes, even, otherwise add. So oops, what happened? If is even is if even is, what happened? Is even dapat, sorry. So if is even. So if it is even, then display niya is even. If it's not, i-display niya add. So you can use mod, you can use the built-in function is even, or you can use is add. There's also is add function. And in fact, there are like product, no, quotient, yan, daghan pa na siyang mga basic mga functions. Okay? Now for COUNTIF, this is count A, count muna tayo, this one. Later na ng if and COUNTIF. So for count A, or for count na lang muna, so for count, you can count the numbers. Okay, so and then kung ano to ang difference nilang duha. So this time, I'm gonna be using the same range of numbers, but this time I'm gonna be using count A. So let's say for an instance, this is for count. Wait, this is count and this is count A. Tanggalon sa nato ni B. So this is count, tama ba? And then this is count A. Okay. So notice the change of the value of for count and COUNTIF if I'm going to change any value here. So let's say I will have here a null value, meaning I don't have any value. So both count and count A recognizes that the value in the second row is considered as it's not counted. Okay? So meaning dili siya counted. So both count A and count is not going to read empty value. Okay, now let's say we have here A. So what you have right here is that in the count, it's not going to include even character. But with the count A, which is actually count stands for count all, it's going to change as long as there is a value in it. It is considered as, or it is part of the counting. So whenever I have here another, so in the count, so it's not included. So meaning letters or any characters except for numerical value are not considered as a value, meaning it is not being read by count. But with the count A, it is considered as it is going to read these values. Do you follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Okay, so that's it for count A, min, max, run, between. Now let's proceed with count if. Okay, dito sa count if and if. So this time we're gonna be needing a, okay, kato na to ang akong gipa fill in sa inyo ha, mga totong gamiton. Sige, so let's close this one. Yeah, don't save na. And then let's go there sa ato ang ano itong download. Downloads there. So you have here, yeah. Okay, so I have here lots of, so this is the work of the purpose, the really purpose of Microsoft Excel is, of course, it is used for data validation and data extraction. So after you get the survey, you get a survey form or whatsoever, and then whatever your purpose is, like ano kag for mag-ano kag probe sa imong probe stat, and you want to know, you want to extract the information from this form, and then based on the data entries from the users that you have surveyed, you will now perform data extraction within the file or within here, no? Okay. So right here, you have here a certain values like for age. Okay, and then we are going to insert a column here, and then we're going to put a remarks in here, no? So let's say we have here the age. So remarks. And then we want to use if condition, okay, for this. So let's say, yeah, i-ano sa nato, i-sort sa day nato ni siya based on the surname or last name, asa mang last name. So i-sort sa nato ni siya. By the way, when you sort the data and you want to include all other columns, make sure when you sort it adto mo sa custom sort. Dili A to Z kasi ang masort ani ang C lang. No? I mean the column C lang masort. So probably dili na mag coincide ang imuhang ang data entry sa imuhang user. So probably mali na ang output sa imuhang or ma-arrive nimo na output. So expand ta with the selection and then what column you want to sort. Okay, and then the other data or other columns will follow. So let's say last name and then click on OK. So everything will be sorted based on the last name. Ayan. All right, so that's it. I guess okay na ta. So this time, we are now going to use if statement. So for if statement, we are going to give a remarks for all of your grades here. Halos pare-pareha lang man yung edad di ay. So, sige, mag-rand na lang ta between, wait lang. Dire lang to sa inyong grade. Let's say, inyong average grade. Grade na lang ta. So, we have average grade. And we are going to perform rand between. So, rand between, let's say, 75 to 100. And then, okay, let's copy paste this one here para dili siya mag-change ang grade. And then, click this one, values only. Okay? So, this time, pwede na nimo i-delete. Okay, you have now the average grade for all of our students here. So, we are now going to perform if condition. We have remarks. Okay, so for this, you have here if. Okay, so if you have ang if is you will be using relational operators, okay, for your logical test, and then the syntax would be if a value is true, then therefore what you put in there will be returned. If otherwise it's false, it's also going to be returned. So example, if my expression says here that if any grade is less than 75, all of it will be failed. And for the grades not less than 75, meaning 75 and above, it's going to be pass. So right here I can use that if statement and then autofill ko. So I have here everything is pass lagi. Ay kasi kay ako ang girandom ganina no 75. Anyway, magbutang ta og example lang niya. So we have 70, we have 56, 73, 50, ayan. 7, ayan. Then we have 60, 68, then 55. Yeah. So as you can see, the remarks is changing its value to either pass or fail. Now, what if you want to do a series of if statement, like a multiple if statement or a nested statement? So when we talk about nested statement, it's an if within an if. Example, I want to I have only in our condition we only have two consequences, the failed and the pass remarks. But what if you are going to include grades like the drop, out of range, or invalid? So we can actually do that right here. Let's say, so remarks. Okay, so we have here equals, okay, this one, sorry, if this one less than or equal to 0, and then you will want to display it is invalid grade. Okay, so not less than 0. less than 0 lang. Kasi ang 0 is considered as a grade. So that's invalid. And then you are going to write another if statement saying that if A, what is this? U2 is less than or equal to 20, it's going to be dropped. So meaning all grades between the range of 0 to 20 or 20 will be labeled as drop. And then so if dili siya drop, then we will proceed with our condition saying that if U2 rather is going to be less than or equal to 74, it is failed, right? And then you will have another condition if U2 is less than or equal to, let's say, 100. Then you have here a labeled that will set the grade or remarks to pass. And then if otherwise it's beyond 100, it's you want to display there like out of range. Okay, and then you count how many opening statement or how many opening parentheses. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is like 4. So you also need to close 4 or yeah, close it with 4 uh, parentheses. Anyway, makita nimo dra ka-color coding na siya. So red, so green is for green, violet, I guess it's purple or violet, then red, and then for black. So enter. Okay? So if you want to see more, this is the formula that we have created. Wait. Wait for a while. Ayan. So, ayan, no? And then, ano sa nato? And then autofill rather. So you have there pass, pass, and failed. Okay, let's say na ay negative. Okay, invalid. And then na ay 150. That's out of range. Okay, so this time we are going to do some conditional formatting. So in the conditional formatting, you will need to highlight all the rows, yan, all rows, and then go to conditional formatting, highlight cell rules with or equal to or pwede text that contains. So example, text that contains failed. So text that contains failed will be labeled as light red filled with dark red. So any failed grade will have labeled as like that. So we can do another conditional formatting for passing grade. You can, let's highlight it with blue. So since walay blue dito, we are going to do a formatting on our own. So custom formatting tayo. And then you can have here, you can change the font, anything you like, whatever imong gusto buhaton. But this time, we're only going to fill that background color to blue and then tuwa siyang i-bold. Alright, and then ang iyang size could be wala lang. Okay, kay dili mapili. Okay, then, okay. So this time, the pass is expected to have a bold format, okay, and then with highlighted blue color. So you have there all passing grade. Now, if you want to do certain rules for out of range and invalid, you can just proceed by something like you can customize it, or let's say yellow with dark rows, something like that. Or if you want to include out of range. Okay, that is for if condition and conditional formatting. Now, how about if you want to also format the grade? So you can also format the grade by highlighting it and then go to conditional formatting. Actually, you have here a lot of options. you have here greater than, less than, between, equal to. Let's say between is the parang accurate siya, no? So let's say all grades between 75 going to 100 will be displayed as green fill with dark green text. Okay, so inana. So okay, so as you can see, you have here. So every time mag-format ka, or every time imong value or this value will be changed to, let's say, 78. No, it's 73. This is going to change its value or color to that way. So let's say for an instance, this 73 is, let's say nahimo siyang 76, it's going to be highlighted in a green format. Okay? So that's for conditional formatting. All right. So let's have a data validation. For data validation, you just have to go to here, and then let's say you want the data validation for your grade. Okay, for this, you want to have a data validation, and you want to have only a let's say we have decimal, and then minimum is 0 up to 100 only. Okay, so meaning the numbers that should be entered here or entered here should be in a decimal format, and it should be in the minimum should be either 0 to 100. So you can have the input message here every time mag-type ang user. So let's say for an instance, so this is value, grade value, enter grade, uh, let's say 0 to 100. And then if you want the alert, okay, so let's start with warning. So warning alert must be 0 to 100, or value must be 0 to 100. Now, if you're only using alert with warning alert for your average, so you have here grade value, enter grades 0 to 100. So there is a what they call this one, a clear message, or clear na label kung sa i-display nimo. So let's say na input siya og negative value, let's say negative 78. So it's going to be value must be 0 to 100. So pag mag-no ka, that's the time pwede nimo i-edit. Pero pag mag-yes ka, i-allowed na niya, because warning lang ato ang gibutang. So regardless kung naa kay mga values dira na lapas tapos nag-yes ka, i-dawaton na niya. Pero if ever nag-validate ka with data validation using a data validation with, like, ang alert nimo is now stop. Okay? So this time, once mag-encode ka og values, ayan, then retry. So there is a looping statement there that you cannot move on to the next row until this will be valid. So bisan unsa pa nimo siya, di nakakahawa dira. Okay? Yan. Okay, so let's say 80 78. Ayan. So only valid na condition will be only valid values will be allowed, no, for our validation. And again, you can have another validation later on. We will have another validation, by the way. So this time, let's have Countif. Okay, so for the Countif, let's say we want to count how many male and female. Okay, so let's say for an instance, we have male and female, and you want to count how many male and female, you just have to do Countif. So Countif, and then let's look for the column that says, or that has an entry of male and female going up to the range of A46, E rather 46, and then criteria should be like male. Okay, so in our data or based on our data, we have 29 male, and then for our female, we have is format na po natin. And then this should be, let's say, female. Is it the same? Okay. So we have, okay, so there are 29 male and 16 female based on our data. Okay, based on the data that we have gathered. So I can now see or analyze based on the survey, I can now say that majority or dominant of the geodetic engineering students are the male people or male students. So only, o pwede ko ngayon, only half or one-fourth of the population of all students in first year is has female. I mean, one-fourth of the population of the geodetic engineering students in first year, assuming lang ha, or everything that I have gathered is female. And then the rest or three-fourth of it is male. I mean female. Male rather. Kasi one-fourth, it's like, this one is like this one 29 plus 16. The total for this one is how much? This is 45, right? So parang approximate value 18, approximate value for our female is only one-fourth ang population niya with regards to male and female. With regards to female, basta female na to sa geodetic engineering students kay only 16, or that's one-fourth of the total population of all geodetic engineering students. Okay, and then we can extract so much more here. Okay, uh, like for an instance, there's also another trick part, which is the data validation. Another use of data validation is when you click this data validation and then you go to settings and then you click on list. Okay, and then in the list you will have the source. Let's say for an instance you have sige, let's have another data. So let's say click this one. Let's have here 228 something 1B and 18A, and then click OK. So you have here, you have here A values 228 1B and 228 1A. So this time we can now count, okay, without, so our value will be, the value of this one will be relative to the value that we select here. So let's say count if, okay, is it from here? Yeah, tama ba? See, I know. So range will be, it's from here going to 46, I guess. Yeah. Okay, then the value will be taken from what row, what cell is, it's X17. Instead of, ang imuhang value is it's relative, meaning mag-change siya whenever a user select it. So you have here 22181B, 22181A. So meaning to say there are, among all in this particular survey, there are 33 students or respondents from 2218A, and then you have only 11 respondents from 2218B. Okay, and so you can do that also for pass, failed, like how many pass, how many failed. So yeah, now we can also do that here. So pass, failed, drop, and then sige, pass, failed lang atong yan. Sige, ako na atong out of range. Out of range and invalid. So if this is the case, then Let's say you have here, kani atong gamiton, I mean Countif, and then from here going to W46, and then the criteria is going to be this one, and then like that, okay? And then enter. So this time, if i-autofill nimo, okay, sorry, if i-autofill ninyo na class, the problem with autofill is that, I mean, okay man siya, no? Ang problem lang na is tanawan ninyo, ang W2, W46, W3, tapos nag-change ang value kasi relative siya. So, para maging static siya, okay, unsay gamito nato ana? Anyone? Para ang range nimo is constant na, mao jud ta always ang iyang gina-base. So, unsa kay buhaton ana? Butang ka og $sign in between row and column. So, ang pasabot ani, ang imuhang W is sorry, wait. Ang pasabot ana is that whenever you do autofill, okay? So you have here what it's ang imuhang value is aning imuhang range value is not going to change vertically. Kasi again, ang atoang basis would be this range or this range value. So dapat constant na nga kana ang iyang gamitan og value in looking for pass, failed, and drop. Kasi kung naka-autofill siya ganina, example lang, or naka-autofill ta and then without $sign, meaning relative siya, $sign, and then irana to siya ha, I mean to siya E. So sige, change ta og mga values. Let's say, wait, para makita ninyo. Kailangan mausab ng value niya. Okay, so you have here 23. So pareha gyapon. Wait. Kasi dapat 43 to W3 dapat within here. Yan. So that's the case now. So if you try to observe with the autofill, it seems like kanina walay changes, but this time there's a actually difference between the value with the kasi ang range nimo here is wala siya naga-change. Always siya W2 to W46. But with your case here, naga-change ang value sa imong W, iyang row. So sa second is himo na siyang W3 47 and then W4 to 48. So naga-increase siya. So naga-increment siya by 1. So mao nang mali na ang entry or mali na ang imuhang gi-arrive na output here. Okay? So also for this one, kung pa horizontal ka, if ever na pa horizontal ka, and then ang counting po na would be ang, sorry, wait ha. So notice also that ang counting ana, sorry, ko dapat naka-autofill data kani. Okay, kanang walay na relativity. So if ever na wala kay $sign, meaning wala na siya na fix or wala naka-static iyang value. So that would mean na ang imuhang value nga gina-test is now in the kanina section or kanina column. So as it increases, naga-increase pod ang value sa imong column. So that is why para safe ka, you can actually if you want na dili siya naga-change, you can actually put a $sign here. Okay? If you want, no? So with that, example kani $sign and then so fix na siya na value. Yan. So di na siya mag-change, di siya maatog Y, di siya maatog Z, di siya maatog A, AB, AC, something like that. So I just hope you follow that one. Pwede nato na siya i-apply actually diri sa atuang kani. So kung mapansin niyo, W2, W46, nahimo na siyang X2, X46. So if mag $sign ka before each column, so ang imong column will not change the value. So bisan pag mag-regular, mag-horizontal, going to horizontal or towards horizontal value ka. So it's not going to change its value. Always fixed na ang iyahang gina-look up na value is kaning nasa column W. Okay? All right, so that is for pass, fail, drop out of range, and we can actually extract some other informations here, information rather. Like if you want to know full online, modular, blended, o pwede nato na siya yan, no? This is a good data, no? Mga critical data. Out of this one, pwede ka maka-generate og research. So, unsa tong mga data nato dito, we have full online. Diri na lang ta sa kuan isa. Ato interested in interested in men, women, and others. So tanaw na to, pila ang interested sa men, women, and others. So this is N. Okay. So N siya, therefore, count if ta. So count if, and then N2, is it? Yeah, N2 going to N46. And then you have men. So interested in men, women, and then you have here others. Check na to sa geodetic engineering kung pila ka buok ang interested sa men. So pwede nato ni A relative gihapon from here. Okay, and then autofill. So check na to kung say mao ba ang value. N3, so this time dapat N2. So mao to dapat naka again naka $sign ni ato ang before sa row kay para ang iyahang kwaon na value would be that range, no, the same range. So in geodetic engineering, there are we have here men, students in geodetic engineering interested in women. So 10 sila ka buok, and then interested in men then they have interested in women 26 others. So based sa atong data, kung i-analyze na to, we have male students na 29 ka buok, and then 3 of them, okay, probably undecided kung unsay lahang interested of either men ba or female. And then, bitaw, based sa data, wala ko nagano, kay based man sa data. And then, based on sa ato ang ato ang female 16 siya, tapos ang women nato is interested in men is 10 lang sila kabuok. So meaning na ay 6 sa ilaanan undecided po. So probably nasa others. Okay, so wala sa kabalo kung kinsa ilang gustuhon, no? Okay, so yeah, that's it. Then the last part would be creating a chart for it, no? So when you create a chart for it, you can select any chart or do recommended chart. Okay, so kung gusto ka mga 3D na chart, you can actually use this one, right? So example, we have 3D chart here. So now, this is now your data representation. So mas okay di ay, by the way. Yeah, so we have here, yan, pwede nimo na siya using the chart, no? So this is gender, okay? And then, so 30 ang male, and then you have 29, almost 30 ang male, and then female is like 16, almost 20. Okay, so pwede ka magpili og mga formatting dira, like if you want this na in ANI or something like that. Yeah. So, ayan, everything can be just selected. So, by the way, when you do a data extraction or data validation, it would be better if diri ka magputang sa next sheet. Okay? Like for an instance, Sige, tanaw na to dire ang favorite movie. Daghan man kayong favorite movie, no? So, ano na lang. Atong may yes, no dire. So, check na to kung kinsa ang tagad na within Davao City or wala sa Davao City. Okay? So, ang ano na to is, this is from other sheet ha. Let's say, uh, data extraction. So, mao ni atong data extraction and then natay label list that says na so emerge nato ni siya. So, with sa ba ni? Region? Dili po region, no? So, within Davao na lang. I don't know what should be the label, but let's say within Davao, and then ang iyang entry is yes or no. So we can do count if. So this time, since na siya sa separate sheet, all you just need to do is click the form 1. Okay, and then sige, I'm gonna explain it to you later on. So they have here K2, and then you have until here. Ayan. And then, we have here, yes. So, ato lang siyang iyan, no? Okay, so here, as you can see, in your formula, you have here form response 1. That is actually the name of the sheet. And then, pointing to unsa na column, unsa na cell, which is K2, to going to form response 1 gihapon with K46 as the cell. So that's the range value. And then pwede nimo ni siya i-relative from here. Yes. Okay. And then so 29, ayan, i-dollar sign nato ni siya dire kay para dili mag-update ang value. So mo na importante mag-dollar sign jud mo klasa kay para say tama inyong accurate ang data. So you have here so we have here the with in geodetic engineering students, there are 29 who actually lives in or who live in Davao City, within Davao City, and then no for 16. So this is our basis now for creating our, so it would be easier for us to, create a, okay, if you want a pie chart, so you can have pie chart. Okay, something like that, no? So within Davao City, yes or no, or pwede naman i-change into yan. So within, i-change na to ni siya with, kasi na-appeal na ako. Anyway, within. Basta i-change na niyo into within or something. Within Davao City. Okay, so that's it. Okay? So I still have a lot of things na i-share, but actually that's it for today. So far kana lang ang mga basic na maano na to for this. By the way, katong sa allowance, another thing di ay. Atong allowance ninyo, sa inyong mga allowance be? Wala lagi allowance dire. Asa naman to dapit? Ay wala po ay dili klaro, no? Kasi pag let's say mangita tag values diri ha. If you want na currency siya or kani ba? Sige, kaning value allowance. So like say 100. So if you want na siya like kani importante biya din siya sa mga currency. So i-click lang nimo ni siya, and then if you want na pila ang decimal point niya, yan. So i-click lang nimo ni siya. Okay? Also, if naan ni siya formatting here na let's say if you want na this is like currency, so yan, nakaset siya by kani siya i-custom nimo na siya into peso. So currency tapos pili lang kadri peso. Chinese yen, English, dollar, English in New Zealand, Taiwan, something. So you just have to change the set the symbol here para kanan values ni mo would have something like this. Okay, especially if it's currency. Dili mo magpili dai ha, by the way. So, ayan. Okay, any questions so far? Napa ba? Do you have questions? Hello? Any questions?
Na, sir.
Wala, sir.
Wala,
Are you
sir.
sure?
Wala, sir.
Okay, sige. Kani, sa pivoting, kaning pivoting, dili lang nako ni i-appeal sa ato ang ano, but the pivoting something is actually this would wait for a while. Balik sa kani siya for advanced ni siya na ano, pero di man po ni siya ingon ni ka ano noon. So let's have here ay lang, sige kanina lang. Let's include this one here up to oops. Okay. So example, kaning sa pivoting is if you want to extract further information based on, let's say, you want to include kung sa gender, filter by, ayan. And then, if you want to include ang like columns, ayan. Okay, pero basically, dili siya okay na magbutang kag columns dira, no? But let's say another, let's say with sa kaning barangay ta or si course code, i-drag lang nimo siya dire. And then you will see directly here the changes of the values. Let's say here, no? Male, female, if unsa imong i-include for pivoting. Okay. So sige lang, dili lang ako ni appeal sa ato ang ano. But this is something that you if you want to explore for advanced if you want to do or explore advanced something. So or advanced Excel for advanced application or on Excel. So like yan, ma-extract nimo siya into pila ka buok ang ganahan og inani like Borat isa ka buok, ang Barbie Avengers na duha. So sa Three Idiots na ay duha. So sa Hacksaw Ridge, wow, that's a nice movie. You have 3. John Wick, we have 2. So yan, dili mo makita. And then this is a good way to actually create or to is without having without having much scripting, right? So basta if you know what's row means the values, column is what are the columns you are going to include. Okay, like if you want to include course for that, if you want to include like favorite song for in the column, yan. Pero syempre pangit man po ni-include mo ng favorites ano as a column, so mas dapat dili na siya. And then for the row, mo ni siya ang pinaka-importante is make sure ang row is ibutang nimo dira ang unsa ang imong i-extract na value. So actually pwede nimo mapili diri sa like dire, no? You want to choose you want to display only katong like you don't want to include Titanic, The Pursuit of Happiness, The Purge, The House of Us, The Kachar po na inyong favorite movie. Oy. Alright, so makita nato na among all sa students na based sa entry is yan, nice po ni Forrest Gump, no? I love that movie. Actually, so far, I love the movies that you have. Napay sex education. Is that even a movie or a series? Squid Game is a series. It's not even a movie. Kani, nice na siya. Oh, nice ni. Nga nice na inyong ibang pili. So far, katong mga daghan og entries or daghan og ang ganahan. O kanilang Barbie. I don't know na abay Barbie. Anyway, so
Barbie na lang, sir, dyan, no?
I guess that would be all for today. Any questions so far? Nakuha ninyo na feed to tanan?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Very good.
Review na lang na mag-usap kay
I-review na lang ninyo. So, wait for the activity, something or on man ang mga activities within the week ha. And then akong focus for today will be for this week will be your grading, your grades para makompleto na nako and then I'll be able to submit